Welcome to the Slow Down to Go Faster podcast. I'm Ralph Simone, and I'm here with my lovely wife, Maggie Simone, who will have another spirited conversation about some of the key concepts from our book. And today, the chapter is Don't Communicate, Connect.
It will be fun.
It is. It's already fun, but this is an area that I think most people are very poor at, creating connection with either individuals one-on-one or with groups of people.
I would agree with that, and I don't even think it's generational. And I know people have said, I talk to my students, and some of my students will talk about a challenge in connecting because of technology and that kind of thing. But I think that there have been generations of people who do not know how to connect.
Yeah, so I think we can offer explanation or excuses, but I think it comes down to focus and attention. I think regardless of what generation you come from or what you got going on, I think this is being intentional about really being focused and paying attention to the person right in front of you. And I just think, maybe we do have too much coming at us, too much information. Actually, I'd call it data, because I think we have too much data. Information means to inform, but I think there's so much data coming at us in so many different directions that people don't have the discipline and the willpower to really sort out what matters most. So this goes back to True North, Chapter 2, and give the person right in front of them their undivided attention.
I mean, just go to a restaurant and look at a table in a restaurant, and you'll see 4 people on 4 phones.
It's hysterical. And, we did that last week. We were down in New York and out to dinner, and I said there was a guy sitting at the end. I said he's had his phone out all night, and our daughter Sophie defended him. He's showing pictures. I said, why didn't he just have a conversation with the people right across from him?
We have explanations for all of it.
Well, and I think we do, and I think we've got to take responsibility around being more present, being where our feet are, and connecting equals wellness. I mean, one of the things that I really am excited about, and I don't think we talked a lot about it in the chapter, this is like bowling alone. Also, look at the number of people that eat by themselves. When we talk about eating is more than sustenance. People that live long lives have a strong social network. They have people that they make connections with. The book that I was just reading was called Eat Your Ice Cream, written by a doctor, 6 Principles to Living Long and Well. And the Eat the Ice Cream was kind of provocative, right? But apparently ice cream is better for us than many people have previously thought. So I think part of this connecting, and actually we will bring this up, this is a huge distraction, the mobile device.
Our dog?
No, the mobile device. We have our dog on there, but the mobile device. People don't have enough willpower to put it down. They put it, I love the people that face down, but when it moves, they're looking at it, right? And so that does become a distraction, and it gets in the way of the quality of the exchange. And because what we're sending, the message we're sending, is that this is way more important than you or the people that I'm talking to. I think you know this. I haven't told this story. It's not in the book. I don't like using PowerPoint slides in my training. And I use them, but I use them reluctantly. I don't like to use them in my presentations. And my coach explained it to me. She goes, the reason you don't like it is because you connect a lot better by just having a conversation with the audience. And she said, PowerPoint causes you and others at times to lose their point of power, which is that heart to heart, that human connection. And so instead of talking to the audience, you're talking with the audience. You're listening to them. You're making an energetic connection John Maxwell wrote a book many years ago. He said, everyone communicates, few connect. And I really think true communication is authentic, it's genuine, and it comes from the heart.
Well, one of the coolest things I've ever seen you do, and there have been some cool things. You've done some cool things.
I hope it's a longer list.
It's
Okay.
more than two hands. But in your TEDx talk, your slides broke or whatever happened. The technology went down.
Happened. They froze.
And for you did not miss a beat. They went down, and you're like, all right, I don't need them. And you kind of pivoted to, you became the slideshow. You became engaged with the audience almost physically. And I remember thinking I was really so incredibly proud of you in that moment. And I probably never told you that, and I probably should have.
Oh, thank you. You just gave me a flashback, though. You remember I knelt down and I was trying to figure out the technology, which was a giveaway to anybody in the audience that wasn't going to happen.
That was not going to help. No.
But I think that's an example of it. And I think this idea of sometimes people are just way over prepared. Like we encourage people to have crucial or vital, pivotal conversations. We refer to things in this chapter about the missing conversation. Those are the important conversations that don't happen. But don't get so over prepared that you psych yourself out or that you're reading from a script. If you know what you want to say, get yourself a little bit organized, but then say it. Let it come from the heart. Let it flow. And I think we almost can make too much of conversations, and that's why we avoid them. So look to make the connection first.
Remember, I was telling you earlier about Jack at the gym.
Yeah.
Who is a senior. He's older than me. And we've had conversations. It took him a long time to warm up to me. Curiously long time, because I am a pretty amenable person.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
But he dropped his towel once, and I picked it up for him, and he just glared at me. And I thought, well, he's going to be a tough nut to crack. But as the years went on, and we talked because we used the same machine, we developed a relationship. And I learned that he lives alone. He never married. He used to be a teacher. Very smart guy. Very, very nice guy. And when I go to the gym now and see him, I always make a point, even though I can't use the machine he uses anymore, I make a point to go over and talk to him. And he just lights up like a firefly when he sees me. And
like most people.
I'm trying not to read more into that, but we have a connection.
So what do you think the secret to that connection is or was? Because I think that's very true. I've noticed the interactions. But what do you think if you had to break it down for our listeners, what would you say?
I think part of it was that I didn't give up.
Okay.
Part of it was I felt like he needed a connection. He seemed isolated to me. And I don't like people to be isolated. I don't like to think that someone is alone against their will. I mean,
Sure.
I just kept going. Every time I saw him, I'd give him this, I hung in there for him because I thought he was going to be worth it. And it makes my day to see his smile when we have a conversation. And I tell my students about the difference between conversing and connecting, and in this especially, and I won't get too political, but we are so polarized right now, and I try to encourage my students to understand that everybody on the left is not correct, and everybody on the right is not correct. Everybody has some good issues, and in order to find that center, in order to find that common ground, you have to connect. It's not just conversing. It's not just communicating. You have to find out why people believe what they believe. Everybody believes something for a reason. And if we lose that ability or desire to connect with people who are different from us, then that polarity is not going to ever be resolved.
So the connection goes way beyond a soundbite. It goes way beyond somebody's label. And I think there's a quote from Kierkegaard: "When you label me, you limit me." And so when this Eat Your Ice Cream, the guy was talking about his father, and you and I, you more than I, we're a Progressive commercial. We initiate conversations. But he was talking about how his father connected with almost anybody he knew. He would be in a restaurant, and he'd start initiating conversation with the people at the next table. Now, you know why we don't do that in a restaurant. Our kids would be under the table, right, out of embarrassment. But he initiated conversations. He let curiosity drive. So we go back to that curiosity mindset, to be really just curious about the person that's standing over there, or next to you in the gym. Ask questions. That's how we connect with people. We're not about telling them, but asking questions and having follow-up questions. And then, we're not as fragile as we think we are. We will endure somebody looking at it differently. And so I think we've got to be just a little bit curious and courageous enough to initiate. And I found that little formula that his father used just very powerful. And it goes back even to the growth mindset, because the father would say if somebody didn't engage with him, he would say, well, they're probably having a tough day and weren't really up for a conversation. So he actually didn't miss a beat with it. And this doctor looks back fondly on that as part of his overall wellness in life, because he learned to have a wide social circle. And I think that's really one of the reasons that we want to connect. We don't just want to talk at people or talk to people. I do a lot of speaking, but I think we spend way too much time teaching people how to be great speakers when we really need to teach them how to connect. If we tell a good story, it doesn't have to be perfect, but if it speaks to people at the emotional, at the heart level, that creates the connection. They're on our side. They're rooting for us. And I think that's how we're going to bridge some of these gaps in our teams, in our organizations, in our communities, and in our country, for that matter.
We went to a restaurant when Rennie and Sophie were probably 10 and 12, and I was talking to the hostess who was taking us to our table. And we were talking, we were chatting, we had a nice conversation going. And when we got to the table, Rennie said, "Mom, you're embarrassing me."
Yes, yeah.
And I looked at him and I said, "It's going to be a long puberty, kid, if that's embarrassing to you." And there was a part of me that was maybe a little hurt that I thought that I might have been embarrassing him. And then last night or 2 nights ago when we were talking to him on the phone, he had stopped to talk to someone on the street and was engaging with this total stranger on the street, making this guy's day, being so kind to him. And I'm listening to it. I have him on speaker, and we're listening to this exchange. And I felt an immense amount of pride that the takeaway, that what he took away from all of those years of mommy embarrassing him, was people like to be seen. They like to be heard. They like to be acknowledged authentically. He does that now, and I love that.
So you can chalk that one up.
That was a mommy fit.
Right.
That was a mommy win.
Right?
Yeah, I broke our daughter's leg. It was an accident. So
that was an accident. We've covered that.
I've had some fails, but this one was a win.
Think about ways in which you are either connecting or not connecting with people. It's not about being slick. It's about being genuinely interested. It's about, you said it just a minute ago, it's about seeing the people, really seeing them. And listening to them, but hearing them, the people that are deep listening. People are so, in order to get context, you need to have deep listening. This is a prime example of slowing down to go faster. It takes patience. It takes maybe a follow-up question or two. It can take a little bit more time, but when people feel listened to, there is a deep and strong connection made. And in organizations, this is critically important, because as leaders, you're trying to influence people to follow a direction, to align the troops to move in a particular direction. And if they feel that they have this deep connection with you, they'll follow you anywhere.